Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Undertale. Fuck these goddamn dogs. So, here's the thing about Undertale. It's really hard to do my usual video on them. Because I do first impressions. That's what I do here. I know I call them gameplay, but the one thing I do is I don't call them reviews. Because doing reviews of games will require me to at least finish the bloody thing before I actually get around to doing it. And to my knowledge, it takes anywhere upwards of 12 to 15 hours to finish Undertale, and I simply don't have that kind of time. I'm not a hugely busy man, but getting 15 hours in on this game would be a bit insane for me. And the problem with Undertale is that I've heard people describe it as a game that's best experienced with absolutely no information about it whatsoever, and you should just immediately jump in and play it. And, well, considering that I was spoiled on the majority of this game's plot twists and stuff before I even jumped in, I cannot help but agree. There is a lot of weird stuff in this game that you would be better off not knowing before you even started up. Because it's a nice little surprise as to some of the stuff you'll run into in this game. But with the idea that, here's the thing, doing first impressions in a game like this where the majority of things haven't been unveiled yet, and the game is at its most simplistic, is probably the worst way to go about things, and I fully acknowledge this, but at the same time, I'm just not going to have the time to finish it and get a video done after all of that. And as I said before, this is the game where you want to jump in knowing absolutely nothing. So the more I show you and the more I tell you, the more the game is irrelevant because of the things that it does that are kind of neat. So, real dilemma on my part, I gotta say. So, if that 2.5 minute ramble didn't ward you off immediately, we're going to go in and I'm going to talk about what I've experienced so far in the 80 minutes that I've been playing. You might be wondering why I picked 80 minutes, because 80 minutes doesn't sound like that much time. Well, about 10 minutes before I found the save point, I got a trophy that said I was at the midpoint of the game. Apparently. I don't know how I managed to do that. I thought this game was a lot longer, but no, I've managed to get halfway through the game without even trying. So yeah. There you go. There's your warnings. If you're gonna get out now. If you want to go play this game that was literally the talk of the town back when it first came out, like 2 years ago, fuck me. If you want to play this game that was the talk of the town 2 years ago, that was on a lot of Game of the Year lists, that has a massive Tumblr following that ruined the game for everyone who even looks in that direction, please go away now. That's your last warning. We'll go have a look at the settings. Well, that's a bit silly. You can change the language here, and this is the first version of the game that was localized into Japanese, so those are the only two options you get. You got your button configurations here, but this is seriously unnecessary. And you can also change the border that you use, and the different borders all have their own little effects on, well, not their own little effects on the game, but this one does change, and there are some things that will go outside the border, but the majority of the game's elements stay inside the border. I'm going to put the border on dynamic. I've been playing on simple, but I just want to see what dynamic looks like. So, the game runs absolutely fine, by the way. No unusual slowdown or anything like that. We'll just hit continue. Notably, you can't actually change the border type when you're in the game for some reason. So, we'll go have a little bit of a look around. It's a very odd game, this one. Apparently, that squeaks. And this is the save point. So you can come here to save, and you also get a free health refill, which is nice. Not that much menu diving to do. You have things like different items you can equip. You can see your stats here, and there's not that much to it. I'm only at level 5 because I've been trying to avoid killing everything, but I did accidentally kill something. So, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. You can call someone, and you can walk out here, and you get to talk to people and see things like telescopes and stuff like that. Basically, this game is fucking weird. Like, This game is fucking weird. That's the whole thing about it. The thing about Undertale is that it's meant to be an absolutely gigantic subversion of everything video game related. You end up in a weird sort of melancholy with this game where everything you talk to is either some sort of question about life in some really weird way, shape, or form, or some things that just make fun of video game tropes. Like, there was a puzzle very later on. Not very later on, a very little time ago, that had two solutions. One was obviously the wrong solution because it just led to a signpost, but when I went to the signpost, just out of curiosity, it said, "Congratulations, you failed the puzzle." That's pretty much it. No, seriously, it has weird little things like that. So here we are in a battle. Now, the weird thing about battles in this game, and this is what makes the game stand out, at least in my opinion, from pretty much everything else I've played, is you can choose to fight, and you'll actually do damage. So I will actually fight something. I don't have to kill it, I can just attack it. And not only will they speak back, but they will actually try and attack me as well. However, if you go to act, you can talk to the monsters. Yes, that edge thing actually came true. So we can actually talk to them. So say I ask Washer to clean me, it hops around excitedly. Green means clean and no need for a swimming suit. I don't even know, but... Oh yeah, blue attack, blue things you have to hold still for. And white you have to avoid, it's bullet hell. But see how his name's gone yellow now? If I go over to Mercy and say spare, he runs away and I don't have to fight him anymore. That's the major thing about this game. Every monster has its own unique way. Every monster has its own unique way of being non-lethally taken down. Which is a very odd thing. It's the same every time you fight the monster, so I know flexing for Aaron is what gets him to go away. Or, you know, let him have mercy on him. And every monster in the game, including the boss fights, can be done this way. And this is where we start getting into spoilers, so I'm just warning you now. He flexes himself out of the room and I won the fight. That is actually pretty good. Sorry for the jump cut there, I had a little bit of a recording problem. But anyway, as I was saying, at least I think I was saying, you can do this for every monster in the game. Doing this for every monster in the game has the potential to do something different. To change the way the game works. And I'm not saying this is a spoiler, this is literally the first thing you get told in the game. The first thing they're told is everything can be surrendered, can be had mercy on. And that makes things interesting, because I can, like, even if you're not familiar with this game and how it works, it's entirely obvious that saving as many monsters as possible will get you, like, will get you, like, a different ending. Which is interesting. I'm surprised I managed to fight these two again, but okay. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Even being able to not kill the bosses. And knowing what I know about the game, I don't want to go spoiling it just in case you guys haven't actually played this yet. But that is a really interesting idea, and just a little bit of a spoiler, I might as well start with the spoilers as little as I can. Yes, killing as few people as possible, killing nobody, in fact, actually sends you down an entirely different game path. And this also happens the exact opposite way around. Like, if you kill everybody, it does something different as well. Which is interesting. There are a lot of different characters in this game as well. There's a lot of different monsters that you meet. Speaking of which... Yep, this is about how weird this game gets, folks. A skeleton calling you on the phone to tell you that they told someone you were wearing a tutu. It's an interesting idea, but the problem with it, and there are a lot of characters. The problem with the game is that it basically needs to succeed on the back of its characters. The characters need to be basically amazing for this concept to work. You won't want to kill them. And that is... Wash your face, what? And that is kind of hit or miss. The writing in this game is not particularly great. Like, there are some laugh-worthy lines here, but it feels kind of... Like, I know it's hard to just say what I'm feeling about the writing in this game, but I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. It's a really hard thing to describe. Whoop. My monitor is going orange. This is gonna suck. Hang on, let me undo that. Yep, off goes Flux. Sorry for making you see that. The writing in this game is hit or miss. I'll put it that way. Some of the characters are great, some are not. Some are creepy, some are actually really good. Like that skeleton you run into, he's pretty cool. Some of the other characters that are sitting around are a little bit weird. And this one's even weirder. Hello, Onion Sand. Is he gonna follow me? He's gonna follow me. It's just... Some of the characters are great, some aren't. And I'm guessing that is why I'm having such a thing about this, because outside of that, the game is really simple. You really don't do much more than walking around, solving simple puzzles, like really simple puzzles, and talking to people. So talking to people in this game is really most of the gameplay. I mean, sure, you've got a little bit of bullet hell going on, but it's... I don't really know what I think about it. That's the thing. I just find it oddly unbalanced. That was a weird character. But yeah, it just feels oddly unbalanced with what characters I like and what characters I don't. Combine this with basically just trying everything in these battles in order to, like, get through, or just... in order to get through the battles just by doing the bullet hell stuff, which isn't as engaging as it looks. It's rather simple, especially if you bring along a bunch of healing items. But anyway, I get to show you Mercy now, so away you go. I'll attack the next monster I find, I promise. That's a little odd. What does the sign say? Oh, there's a song, and I don't have my headphones in, so I can't listen to it. Fantastic. There is a plot, of course. but I haven't seen much of it yet because it's a plot. It's just... What do you say about Undertale that keeps people in the dark about it, but still gives them the joy of discovering it? Like, you've seen Onion Sam now, and some people might have really liked Onion Sam, but I didn't think he was particularly great as a character, obviously. You probably see him again, knowing how this game goes about reintroducing characters, but I don't really know what to say about it. I find it a bit dull, and considering that the gameplay to me is a bit dull, I mean, I'm a guy who plays Darius Burst, so considering Bullet Hell isn't really that difficult in this game, then I just find it hard to actually enjoy the gameplay because it's basically just fumbling through the bullet hells and then figuring out whether I want to attack back or talk back, and the characters that I've met so far haven't been particularly great on the whole. But that's just my opinion, and someone else might think entirely differently, and according to the entire bloody internet, everyone thinks differently than I do, so... God, I don't really know, if you want me to be honest. I legit have no idea. It's a weird experience, I guess the thing is. That's just kind of the thing about it. It's a weird experience, and I'm guessing whether or not you like the experience. If you like the experience of going around meeting a bunch of weird characters and finding out how they all live together in this weird universe, then you just... But the thing is, how do I tell you if... Oh Christ, this is so confusing. How can I tell you what the characters are like without ruining the best part about the game, which is the game's sense of surprise? That's really the big thing about it. I don't think I can. I think all I can do is tell you whether or not I liked it. And honestly, my answer to this so far is a big fat meh. I was about to say, why don't I take an umbrella? Oh, I actually can hold an umbrella. Okay. But I have an umbrella, what? Oh, right. How do I put it away? How do I put the umbrella away? Yeah, put it back. Okay, now I can climb. Oh, look, a save point. It's just... This is a horrible game to do first impressions on. I'm sorry. It really is. I shouldn't really try and talk about this without having played it all the way through, but here I am anyway, because I'm probably not going to have the time to finish it, and based purely on what I've played so far, I don't think it's as special as the internet has led me to believe. Whether or not you want to use that as your general idea, or if you want to tell by looking at the bullet hell and the talking gameplay and all that and what have you, if you want to use that to determine whether or not you want to buy the game, go right ahead. You've just seen 20 minutes of it. And I don't want to do much more than that, because this is the sort of game where you want to watch as little as possible. But yeah, you've heard me talk about it for this long. I assume you're still here. But yeah, I don't like Undertale that much. Whether or not you will is Well, it's a question, isn't it? A question I really can't answer that effectively, and that's kind of the problem with it. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.